Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today's discussion will be about A Quiet Place Day 1. And you know what? After much contemplation, I have to say that A Quiet Place Day 1 has become this the biggest movie disappointment of 2024. Like, this film was at the very top of my list of for the year. Like like I went into it as a massive fan of the first two films, hoping to find that same intense suspense and emotional depth that made them exceptional. Like, those films gripped me from start to finish. Like, they were filled with nail-biting tension, deep character moments, and a storytelling quality that made you invest in every second. Like like but A Quiet Place Day 1 fell short on every one of those fronts, in my opinion. Like, I went there on opening day, and I walked into the theater expecting a similar emotional punch and edge of your seat suspense. Like, I wanted the film to be deeply engaging, like the original two, but um with new elements that might add even more depth. Like, I thought it would bring a strong emotional experience, some sympathetic characters, and suspense akin to Cloverfield. Like, a film that manages to keep you tense from start to finish. However, instead of any of this, I found myself in a theater watching a series of bland scenes that failed to evoke a single moment of genuine suspense. Like, there was no skin crawling tension, no sense of gripping fear. Like, I was struck by just how lifeless it felt. Like, this movie was just disappointing. Like, it was infuriating at the same time. Like, I sat through the entire movie with a straight face, feeling absolutely nothing. Like like but adding to my frustration was the fact that most of the characters did not engage me. Like, there was no depth to them, no complexity, and very little to invest in emotionally. Like, the only character I felt even a flicker of empathy for was Lupita Nyong'o's, and even that was limited. Like, for the rest, I felt nothing. Like, it's as if the filmmakers missed the essence of what made the earlier films so special. Like, although I have to say that the narrative was focused, but the tension was flat, and the entire experience felt uninspired. Like, I felt like the execution felt uninspired. It didn't give that emotional punch as the original two. Like, there was, I felt no hints of energy, no suspense, or careful attention to character and story that made the original A Quiet Place movies so captivating. Since I'm reflecting on this prequel, I can't help but feel that Day One tried to replicate the atmosphere of the previous films, but failed at every step. Like, I remember how gripping part 2 was. Like, I saw it in the cinemas with my family, and it was by far one of the greatest movie experiences that I've ever had. Like, it held me at the edge of my seat. Like, I remember that experience like yesterday. It held, like I said, it held me at the edge of my seat, creating this electric suspense that felt almost tangible. But with Day One, I expected that same level of engagement, and I was let down at every turn. Like, the film didn't even reach the suspense of Cloverfield. Like I said before, I expected it. Like, like I wanted it to be emotionally driven, narrative driven, emotionality, and Cloverfield like suspense, but instead Day One felt like a rough collection of ideas that never gelled into something coherent or exciting. Like like unfortunately my disappointment was limited to the film itself. Like, I will say this, what was even worse was the cinema I went to. I hadn't been there since I was a toddler. Like, I hadn't been there in years. So returning to it for this movie was supposed to make the experience special. Instead, it made things absolutely worse. Like, the sound quality was poor and flat, especially during the dialogue heavy moments, though the loud boom boom moments were still decent, but it was a struggle to understand the characters' voices, and the lackluster sound quality only added to my frustration. Like, not only did the film fail me, but the cinema experience was a letdown too. But at the end of the day, A Quiet Place Day One, for me, is the most disappointing film of the year. Like, I still can't believe that something that I anticipated so much turned out to be a complete letdown. Like, I've decided that in my mind, this movie doesn't even exist. I'm sorry, not sorry. Like, even not just a part of the Quiet Place universe, but as a movie itself. But the original two films created a, in a way, a perfect um suspenseful world centered around the Abbott family, and I think the franchise should have stopped there, expanding beyond their story, their story, and their story has diluted on what made the series so exceptional. Like, so now I'm choosing to ignore that Day One and Day One, and I'm gonna pretend it isn't part of the series. Like, I truly wish it had stayed focused on the elements that made the originals great. Like, in other words, I just wish, in other words, it should be just a trilogy focusing on the Abbott family itself. So, that's all I have to say, and overall, I hope you enjoyed my negative criticisms towards this movie. I hope you enjoyed this review. So subscribe, and share, and also follow my Letterboxd account, and also subscribe to the one that I collaborate with my cousin with, the Casual and the Cinephile. So, so see you next time, my fellow cinephiles.